Did you know that if you have eggplants at home, you can make an incredibly delicious dish the whole family will love? So don't forget to subscribe so you never miss more tasty and healthy recipes. By the way, where are you watching from today? Let me know in the comments. Now, back to our eggplants. You don't need anything fancy, just a few simple ingredients and a bit of time. This recipe is perfect for lunch or dinner, and it works both warm and cold. It's one of those dishes that looks like it took hours to make, but is actually super easy. Feeling hungry already? Then let's get started. I'll walk you through each step. And if you're cooking along with me, grab your apron. Things are about to get tasty. Now I'm peeling 3 eggplants. And while I'm doing that, I'm also preparing a bowl of water. Just pour in 1 liter of water, add 1 tablespoon of salt, and give it a good stir. This will help draw out any bitterness from the eggplants. Once they're peeled, I cut them into medium-sized cubes, not too small, so they hold their shape when cooked. Eggplants are amazing, aren't they? They're full of fiber, antioxidants, and they help support heart health and digestion, all while being super low in calories. If you're trying to eat healthier without giving up flavor, eggplants are your best friend. And hey, I'm curious. What's your favorite vegetable? Maybe it's something from your childhood or something you grow in your own garden. Let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you. You know what else makes eggplants special? They've been around for thousands of years. Originally from India and Southeast Asia, they made their way to the Middle East, then to Europe, and finally the rest of the world. In Italy, for example, eggplant parmesan is a beloved classic. In the Middle East, they're used in dishes like baba ganoush. And in Asia, especially China and Japan, eggplants are stir-fried with garlic and soy sauce to make quick, delicious meals. Each culture has its own way of celebrating this humble vegetable. Or should I say berry? What I love most is how versatile they are. You can fry them, bake them, grill them, stew them. They work with any spice or sauce. Plus, they have that rich, meaty texture that's perfect even if you're not eating meat. Honestly, I think eggplants are underrated. People often don't know what to do with them, but once you try a few good recipes, you'll want to cook with them all the time. Have you ever grown eggplants yourself? They're actually not too hard to grow if you have a sunny spot. And they look beautiful too, glossy and deep purple, like little jewels on a plant. Nature really is amazing, don't you think? And what about you? What's your go-to eggplant dish? Maybe it's a family favorite or something traditional from your culture. Share it in the comments. Others would love to try your recipes too. It's always fun to see how the same ingredient becomes something completely different around the world. And did you know there are many types of eggplants? Not just the big purple ones. Some are small and green, some white, even striped. In some cultures, eggplants are symbols of luck or wealth. And back in the day, their skin was even used as natural dye because of its rich color. Pretty cool, right? Now I'm adding the cubed eggplants into the bowl of salted water. I give them a gentle stir to make sure they're all covered. Then I place a plate right on top and add something heavy, like a jar or a can, to keep the eggplants fully submerged. This little trick helps remove bitterness and makes the texture softer and creamier when cooked. Did you know that in some countries, soaking eggplants like this is part of tradition? In Greece and Turkey, it's done before almost every eggplant dish. It not only improves the taste, but also helps the eggplants absorb less oil during frying. Smart, right? A simple step, but it makes a big difference. Now I pour 40 grams of pine nuts into a dry pan and toast them over medium heat until they turn golden and start to smell amazing. This step might seem small, but it really brings the dish to life. Toasting the nuts release their oils, giving them a deep, rich flavor that pairs perfectly with the soft texture of eggplants. We're not just adding crunch, we're layering flavor. Pine nuts are also a powerhouse of nutrients. They contain healthy fats that support heart health, along with important minerals like magnesium, zinc, and iron. They even have antioxidants that help protect your cells. That's a lot of goodness in such tiny nuts. In Mediterranean and Middle Eastern cooking, toasted pine nuts are often used to finish dishes. Sprinkle on top just before serving to add that final touch. And once you taste them in this recipe, you'll see why. Have you ever toasted nuts at home? If not, now's a great time to start. Just keep an eye on them because they can burn quickly. Now I'm chopping 4 onions. Yes, your eyes might water a bit, but it's totally worth it. Onions are one of the healthiest and most ancient vegetables we use in cooking. They're packed with antioxidants, vitamin C, and natural compounds that help fight inflammation and support the immune system. In fact, some studies suggest that regular onion consumption can help lower blood pressure and even reduce the risk of heart disease. Pretty impressive for something so simple, right? And here's a fun fact. Did you know that in ancient Egypt, onions were considered sacred? They believed the circular layers symbolized eternity and even buried pharaohs with onions as a symbol of protection. Amazing how much history is hidden inside an onion. And besides all that, onions add sweetness, depth, and that irresistible smell when they hit a hot pan. They're not just background flavor, they're the heart of so many great recipes. And here's something else interesting about onions. You can actually use them not just in cooking, but in natural remedies too. In traditional medicine, onion juice has been used for centuries to soothe coughs, reduce fevers, and even treat minor wounds. Some people still believe that placing a slice of onion in your sock overnight can help fight off a cold. Strange, but it shows how deeply onions are woven into human history. And did you know that different onions have different personalities? Red onions are sweeter and great raw in salads. White onions are sharp and perfect for salsas. And yellow onions, like the ones I'm using now, are best for slow cooking because they become soft and caramelized. No wonder every cuisine in the world uses onions in some way. From French onion soup to Indian curry, from Mexican tacos to Russian pierogi, onions are always there, quietly doing their magic. Now, I heat up a generous splash of olive oil in the pan and add the chopped onions. I give them a gentle stir and sprinkle in a bit of salt. This helps them release their moisture and caramelize faster. While the onions are slowly cooking, I drain the water from the eggplants. You'll notice they've changed a little. They're softer and not bitter anymore. Exactly what we want. Back to the onions. They're starting to turn golden, the edges are just beginning to brown, and the whole kitchen smells amazing. That's my cue to add the eggplants. I pour them into the pan, and they sizzle as they hit the hot oil. From this moment, the dish really starts to come together. The sweetness of the onion and the softness of the eggplants are a perfect match. Now it's time to add the spices. I sprinkle in 1 tablespoon of dried oregano, 1 tablespoon of turmeric, and 1 tablespoon of sweet paprika. These 3 together create such a rich, warm aroma, you'll feel like you're in a Mediterranean kitchen. Oregano adds a herby freshness, turmeric brings a golden color and earthy flavor, and paprika gives a gentle smokiness and sweetness. I mix everything well, making sure the spices coat every piece of eggplant and onion. The colors in the pan start to deepen, and the smell, ooh, it's absolutely mouthwatering. By the way, what are your favorite spices? Do you like something spicy, smoky, or maybe sweet and fragrant? Let me know in the comments. I'm always curious to hear what flavors people love in their cooking. Now, back to the pan. Once the eggplants and onions are fully cooked, soft, golden, and full of flavor, it's time for the final touch. I add the toasted pine nuts we prepared earlier and gently mix everything together. And right away, the smell changes. It becomes warm, nutty, and incredibly inviting. The eggplants have soaked up all the spices and olive oil, the onions are sweet and golden, and the pine nuts add that perfect crunch and richness. It's one of those dishes where you just want to grab a spoon and eat it straight from the pan. Simple ingredients, big flavor, and a kitchen that smells like home. Once everything is perfectly cooked, I carefully transfer it into a serving bowl. The dish looks beautiful. Golden onions, soft, flavorful eggplants, and those perfectly toasted pine nuts that add just the right amount of texture. The smell alone is enough to make anyone hungry. It's rich, savory, with hints of herbs and spices. It smells like comfort, like home. Now, I have a question for you. How would you enjoy this dish? Would you serve it as a warm sauce over fluffy rice, creamy mashed potatoes, or pasta? Or maybe you'd keep it cold and eat it like an eggplant spread, something like a Mediterranean-style caviar. Some people even roll it into flatbread, like a veggie wrap. So many options. As for me, I love serving it the simple way, on a piece of toasted bread. I take a slice of crispy toast, still warm, and pile a big spoonful of the mixture right on top. It becomes a perfect open-faced sandwich, full of flavor and texture. Great for lunch, a snack, or even as an appetizer for guests. And here's the best part. It tastes even better the next day. Once it sits in the fridge overnight, all the spices, the sweetness of the onions, the earthiness of the eggplants, and the nutty pine nuts blend together into something even more delicious. So, what do you think? Would you try this recipe? Maybe even add your own special touch? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear how you'd make it your own. And don't forget to save this video or share it with someone who loves cooking. Trust me, this is one of those recipes that surprises you with how good it is. And once you try it, you'll keep coming back to it again and again.